Hi, everybody. It's a tenuous time, I think, these few days before Passover, when we are preparing to leave Egypt. And as I shared with Mark before we began today, I have a torn hamstring, which I've been dealing with for a number of weeks, and I'm hobbling around. So getting out of Egypt is feeling a little more unsettling than usual, and I feel very vulnerable. And perhaps you feel vulnerable, maybe for different reasons. I want to do a teaching today from the Passover supplement that Mark mentioned. It's called Ferocious Love. And Ferocious Love is designed intentionally for this year for the issues that we're facing as a country in seeing freedoms being diminished almost by the moment. And there's a piece in it that I will meditate from today. I want to share with you. There's beautiful artwork in here from a colleague of mine, Alva Horton, who's an art historian. And I want to work with the concepts of broken, whole, broken, whole, which is how I'm understanding this year Yachatz, when we break the middle matzah. So what I will be focusing on today is the concept of brokenness and the concept of wholeness. And I think that we'll just go right in to our meditation, because I think that's fitting. So I invite you to find your spot. And as you find your spot, I want to invoke the vision that you saw behind Mark in Egypt. And the memory of how close to the earth we lived and how close to the earth our lives were at that time. So feel the earth under your feet. If you're on a cushion, feel the earth under your seat and against your legs. Sink into that for a moment. For me, sinking into the earth is sinking into support. Feeling held. And whether you're in an apartment or a house or on a back porch or in an office, feel the fresh air around you. That fresh air is hope. The possibility of a new day, a new freedom. Gently bring your intention and attention to your physical body. Feel where you are in space. Allow your hips to support your spine. even as they sink into the support underneath you. Feel the lift in your chest. See if you can allow your heart to receive the light. And notice as you allow your heart to receive, you also allow it to radiate. Notice if softening in your heart changes your breath. You're carrying grief right now or stress. You might place a hand just for a moment over your thymus gland, on your sternum, just a little below your collarbones. Allowing your immune system to activate, to be there for you in this time of leaving the narrow places. Maybe there's energy in your throat of loss, or of a song you're waiting to sing. Feel free to bring your fingers to a part of you that might feel that it could use a little support as you prepare for this journey. And now imagine a ray of light, which may be like a liquid fall pouring from somewhere above your head, a liquid light of sunshine coming into the top of your head, your crown, and washing down the back of your head, all the way down your shoulders, down your spine, down to the bottom of your seat, down to the ground. Where are you right now? Are there places inside of you, emotional places, physical places, places of mind that feel torn, that feel broken? It's comfortable for you to take a breath. I invite you to do so. If you prefer, perhaps place a hand where you feel that brokenness. See if you can feel the outstretched arm of Havaya, the all that is, reaching down and out and up from whatever direction. To bring healing to that broken experience. I often notice that as I allow healing to occur, there is a release of emotion. Sometimes tears, sometimes that incredible sigh of relief. You are safe. You can release that experience in this space. Now, a shift in our attention to where you may feel whole. It could be physical, emotional, spiritual, or in a thought. Allow this wholeness to be acknowledged. Allow yourself to appreciate this strong sense that you have. Can this wholeness be a comfort to the brokenness? Can it be a light that helps some of that brokenness mend? Recognize that at once, in all times, we are both broken and whole, or at least shifting from one to the other. We'll take some quiet time now. I invite you to explore both the broken places and the wholeness in the way that is most meaningful for you. Gently bring your awareness back to the space that you're in. And as we prepare for this exodus, with the broken and the whole, miracles are possible. There may be miracles when you believe, though hope is frail, it's hard to kill. Who knows what miracles we can achieve when we believe, somehow we will. Now we will when we believe. A blessed, freeing, whole Pesach to us all and to the world.
So much, Robin. A beautiful practice to bring us into Pesach. And friends, let's seal our practice today, as we do each day. Let's all stay present for the mourner's Kaddish, for those who are mourning, observing a yard site, or for whom it's the custom to participate. You can put the name or names of anyone you would like to include that you're holding in your heart today. If you're not reciting Kaddish, you can participate by staying present and offering your support for those who are in mourning. Thanks to Harry for sharing the words on the screen. And if you're joining me for the Kaddish, please do so by rising in body or in spirit, and you can unmute at this time. Yitgadal, Yitgadash, Shemei Rabbah, Yamad,
Dirach, Hilute, V'yamnech, Malchute, V'chayachon, V'yomachon, Chaye, D'chol Beit Yisrael, Hagala, V'Yisrael, V'Yamnu, Amen.
Shmei
Shmei
Rabbah,
Rabba, Barach, Le'olam, Le'olam,
Barach,
Barach,
Yishtabach,
Barach,
Yishahar,
Barach,
Yitraman, Yitaseh,
V'Tadar,
Yitaleh,
V'Talel,
Yitalal,
Shmei
Shmei
Dikadusha,
Dikadusha,
Shritu, Ve'elam,
Ve'elam,
Yimchol,
Yimchol,
Birchata,
Birchata,
V'Shirata,
V'Shirata,
V'Shvachata,
V'Shvachata,
V'Nechemata,
V'Nechemata,
Damiran,
Damiran,
V'Yamam, V'Imru,
Ba'oma,
Amen.
B'Imru,
Shmei
Amen.
Rabba, Baruch
Hey,
Shem,
Shlama Rabba Miyushimaya, Chaim Aleinu V'Yal Yimru,
Useh
Amen.
Shalom B'Rama,
Useh Shalom
Useh
B'Rama,
Shalom. Alayni
Uyaseinu,
V'Yakol Yisrael,
Aleinu, Kol
V'Yisrael,
Yisrael,
Yoshvei
Kol
Tevel,
Yoshvei
Shalom
Yimru.
Bimroma.
Amen.
Shalom Aleinu Be'alkol Yisrael. Be'alkol Yoshvei Tevel V'imru. Amen.
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 Amen. Thanks everyone for joining us today. I didn't mention at the outset, but we will not be meeting tomorrow as IGS is closed, as we're getting ready for Pesach, and we will also not be meeting on Monday during the second day of Pesach, but we will be here during Chol HaMoed Pesach, the intermediate days of Pesach, all week. So it'll be really wonderful for us to be able to immerse and practice during the holiday, Tuesday through Friday next week. So we hope you'll join us. I want to thank Harry Goboa for holding our space beautifully, as always, and our teacher today, Rabbi Robin Damsky, and looking forward to conversation with her in a moment. As always, we hope you stay on. If you have a question you'd like to ask Robin, please put it in the chat. I'll try to work it into the conversation. And I think that's all I needed to announce for now. So just a reminder that, of course, I know what I want to do, and I will try to get the link. Harry, if you're able to do it before I do, I wanted to put the link to the playlist. We have two previously we did two really beautiful week-long series, one with Rabbi Miriam Margles and one with Rabbi Sam Feinsmith. And I really would encourage people even just to listen to them while you're cooking, cleaning, or getting ready for Pesach in whatever way you're just great resources. And also IJS has a beautiful supplement for meditation before Kiddush at the Seder and also before telling the story. So please avail yourself of that as well. All right. A lot of promotions here. Robin, I want to thank you so much. I don't know if I don't think you were on yesterday, but Dorothy Richmond led yesterday, and the theme of the practice was both and, about holding what seems to be paradoxical or conflicting realities. And so today was like a really beautiful follow-up on that, on brokenness and wholeness. And I can screen share for a second, just to give another shout out to your supplement and the artwork. Since I had seen this, I was holding this in my mind. Maybe you want to say a little bit about, the artwork in your supplement. But I thought this is really pretty much, at the proverbial picture says much more than can be said in words. So anyway, I just want to invite you to say a little bit about the artwork and about this, maybe this in particular, why you chose this for the cover.
Yeah, so it's interesting because that was the cover for our publicity, and the cover that we actually chose for the supplement is a Chagall piece that has a woman literally flying in the air and a man who is holding her down. Alva Horton, who is an art historian and designer, chose the art pieces for this. And when we found that picture for our publicity, I thought we would put it on the cover. We ultimately didn't, but that heart speaks to me. If you see it in its enlarged space, the background looks like it very much could be a wall in Jerusalem. And it is knitted and it is stitched and it is torn. It really spoke to both of us about the Jewish heart being literally torn apart right now. And I saw in our notes, how can we possibly feel whole with our brothers and sisters in captivity and being threatened and killed? And that is both in Israel, Gaza, and that is throughout the states as we experience anti-Semitism. And it is so large to encompass all peoples from where I sit in so many parts of our country and in so many parts of our world. The idea of ferocious love is that it takes us finding that strength of heart to address that brokenness, that captivity, that horror. Because I think it is easy for us to feel victimized, to feel overwhelmed, to feel enslaved, like we don't have any power. And this is the message, right? This is the message of Pesach, of moving from that powerlessness to agency. I've been seeing your posts on Thursday nights, of getting out and speaking and communicating a message, and the fact that we are not powerless. So I think my response, both to, I'm sorry, I don't remember who, I saw it in the chat, but I don't remember who wrote that or who asked that question. And to your question, Mark, are that that it is so important, it seems to me right now, to tell the truth about how broken we feel and how brokenhearted we feel. And in acknowledging that becomes the first possibility for wholeness and action.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So here's my other question. I just want to point out that that picture of the knitted heart, the torn knitted heart, and the kind of
Yeah.
broken wall. That's if you go to the website where you can download that Ferocious Love supplement, you can see it there. Who did the artwork for that? Do you know?
That particular piece is something that we found online.
Okay.
But I'll tell
Anonymous.
you that the actual all of the other pieces in there, except for a photograph or two that I inserted, are professionally painted pieces or woven pieces that one can find throughout our art world. Most of them are Jewish artists, and the few that are not are painting about Jewish themes.
Hmm. The supplement, if you can just scroll up in the chat, you'll see we posted the link to that a few times. Maybe we can put it in again, Harry.
Yeah, and actually, I'm just seeing if I can post, if I can.
There it is. Harry just posted the link.
Okay.
I'm gonna post the picture. I also put in the chat. So there's so many resources. We're flooded with Passover resources. I also put the link to that YouTube playlist with Rabbi Miriam Margles, Soulful Seat at the Table, for people, especially since we're not meeting tomorrow. You might want to make use of that. You may recall that Miriam led, a series of beautiful meditations about different parts of the Seder. Which brings me to my second question, Robin. This idea of both and, of holding brokenness and wholeness. In the Seder, it's kind of sequential. We start with we take the middle matzah in the Yachatz part of the Seder and break it, and then the larger part becomes the Afikomen, right? And then for Tzafun, which is the looking for the Afikomen, we find that big part, the broken matzah, and basically put it back together, like reassemble it. So there's a kind of linear movement from brokenness to wholeness. And in between the brokenness and the wholeness, there's the reenactment of the story so that we can experience that. But I felt like the practice today was really like Yachatz and Safun at the same time, experiencing. And I think Dorothy was speaking about this yesterday also, about, feeling brokenhearted about, we have innumerable causes. Every time I think about the hostages, it's just unbelievably heartbreaking. Every time we think about the situation in Gaza, it is heartbreaking. Every time we think about the displaced kibbutzniks and, what's happened there, it's heartbreaking. What's happening in relation to democracy here and in Israel is heartbreaking, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We can go on and on. The climate, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So given all the heartbreak, which after a while, it just becomes almost cliche to say that, we're like heartbroken, right? Dorothy was talking about going out and just seeing beauty in nature. And I'm sure you have, must be incredibly beautiful where you are right now. I imagine for spring is hopefully you're able to get out and experience that. So I want to invite you to say a little bit about, thank you. Ooh. North Carolina in spring, mid-April in North Carolina. Must be, yeah. Even here in New York, we got the azaleas are out.
I grew up in New York. I remember it well. Yeah.
Yeah. So Riverside Park is quite beautiful this time of year, and just going to get more beautiful the next few weeks.
Yeah.
So what have you got to say about being able to experience both of those at the same time? I will say just that I notice a little struggle within myself, and I toggle back and forth, right? It's hard to hold both at the same time. And maybe it's not what we're supposed to do.
I think that's right on target. And again, responding to some of the notes in the chat, and what you said is, I think we can get to the point where we're in so much pain that we become inured, that we can't take anymore. And I think that many of us may either be in that place or have experienced that place or find ourselves going in and out of that place. one of the powers of the Passover story is to remind us not to let ourselves get hardened, right? That's the whole point. Let us not harden our hearts, and to recognize that there may be issues around which we don't feel that we can make an impact, but there are so many things around which we can make an impact. And the more we connect to that sense of possibility, that's why I ended with those little words from Prince of Egypt, which have been with me for 2 weeks now. I watched the movie a couple
I
of
was
weeks
going to
ago.
ask you, is that where the song
And
was
I,
from, Prince of Egypt?
yeah, and I hadn't seen it in
Been a
years.
while. It's been a while. Yeah.
But that song has just been, it just keeps coming through. There can be miracles when we believe, and
Mhm.
it's actually when you believe, but I put it in the plural. Because we never know, right? What act of ours, what meditation moment of ours, collectively or individually, is going to shift something in the world, or what act to a kind stranger is going to shift something in the world that magically a large situation around which we feel completely powerless begins to open up. So I think that it's important for us to nurture when we feel broken and to tell the truth about it. It's very important also for us to acknowledge that even as we feel so broken, even if we take a few moments a day to say, okay, I want to also acknowledge the power of my heart, the power of my wholeness,
Mhm.
so that we don't get lost in one, and that we don't overflow, I suppose, in either direction, that we feel so whole that we're in like this egocentric, aggrandized place that we don't recognize suffering.
Right. Well, I'm going to close in a minute, but I think, the reenactment of the story or the immersion in the story is, and you also spoke about hope, right? About starting by acknowledging that brokenness. And I'm just thinking about like when we're at the Seder and we get to Yachatz and breaking that matzah, just naming all, as I started to name all the sources for our sense of heartbreak right now,
Yeah.
and acknowledging that grief as part of the process of moving through that
Yes.
to a different place.
And
And go
that's
ahead.
precisely what the supplement is designed to do. It starts
Right.
with very much looking at our own vulnerability and, bringing it out and out and out. You talked about Yachatz, and you talked about Safun. I
Mhm.
never noticed before that during the Hillel sandwich, right? We are
Mhm.
using both a whole matzah and a broken matzah.
Mhm.
We're supposed to eat from both of those. And so,
Right.
that theme of wholeness and brokenness
Mhm.
is, it just cycles. It's spirals, I suppose is a better word, through the whole Seder.
Yeah. Do you have any favorite Seder tips you want to share?
One of the things that I put into the supplement that I really love is something that I found years ago in a Seder from Arthur Waskow called the Rainbow Seder or the Rainbow Haggadah. And it's not, I couldn't find it anymore. There are Rainbow Haggadot now, but they're not the same. And he talks about getting a whole bunch of different colored candles. We've got 10 different colored candles this year. And if you have time to go purchase some candles, or maybe just grab some old Hanukkah candles in different colors and light them with a recognition of all of the colors in which we come in our
Mhm.
skin, but not just in our skin colors, but all of the varieties of humanity, our different ethnic backgrounds, our ages, our sizes, our gender affiliations, our sexual identities, just really to bring in, right,
Mhm.
races, to bring in all of us, all of our resplendent colors into the lighting of the candles this year.
All right. I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
For freedom for
Yeah.
everybody.
I'll just throw in one more that I've learned that we're going to try to bring back. We haven't done it in the last 2 years, but I learned from our friend, Cantor Laurels, our Kessler, about finding a good quote about freedom and then cutting up the quote and giving people different words. And then over the course of the Seder, you kind of put it up on the wall and try to piece together the quote, which is another
Wow,
kind of, little bit of a
lovely.
little freedom jigsaw puzzle.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I do love that. That's great.
So, oh boy. Well, everyone, Robin, thank you so much as always. What a great way. So glad to have you
I'm
as
happy to be here.
jumping off point into Passover, and want to wish everyone in these heartbreaking times a Passover experience that instills a sense of hope and empowerment and freedom, and helps bring us out of this very constricted place that we're in right now to a better place.
Amen.
And we'll look forward to sharing Passover together beginning next Tuesday. So wishing everybody Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach. Thanks to Harry. Thanks to Rabbi Robin. Thanks to each of you for being here. Great to be with you. And
Can I
yeah,
just
go ahead,
add
Robin.
one thing?
Yeah, sure.
Mark, you did mention at the beginning that I'm also doing an online Omer course, and we also began last night. It's also recorded, but if you're interested, please do reach out. It's one of the links in the chat, and if not, just go to my website, limitlessjudaism.com, send me a note, and I'll connect you with it.
Okay.
Blessings, blessings for healing.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
All right, Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach, everybody. Be well. See you next week.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Mark.